Everybody, my name is David Morgan. I'm Arlington's Environmental Planner and Conservation Agent. The October 9th, 2025 public meeting of the Conservation Commission will be conducted in a remote format consistent with an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, which further extend COVID-19 measures regarding remote participation in public meetings till June 30th, 2027. This meeting is being recorded and the recording may be made publicly available. The meeting materials can all be found at the link I'm putting in the chat now. I'll probably add that as others join later. Please note that the Zoom chat feature may be used for questions and comments that contribute to the Commission's procedures, and if it's used otherwise, it may be disabled at the Chair's discretion. Public comment period will follow each hearing. We have technically two, but really only one hearing tonight. Commission encourages attendees to ask questions, offer comments during that public comment period. Usually we have Chuck Tironi facilitating as the Commission Chair, but he is off tonight, and we have Susan Chapnick, former Chair and now Vice Chair. So each vote taken tonight will be conducted with a roll call vote. And Susan, we begin as always with agenda review and attendance. So to you for those things.
Sure, thank you, David. We're going to start with administrative reviews of meeting minutes, and correspondence will be posted as David said. Then we're going to go to several discussion items. Elizabeth Island Conservation Restriction MOU, which was continued, Sims Conservation Restriction Update, Water Bodies Working Group Update, the CPA Committee Update, and a Tree Committee Update if we have one. We have two hearings scheduled for tonight. If anybody's here for the 40 Park Avenue one, that will be continued based upon the applicant's request for more time, so that we won't have that hearing. The notice of intent for 26 Reed Street will proceed. I think we still don't have a DEP number for that, so that this notice of intent will be, the hearing will be opened, but we won't close the hearing tonight. And so briefly, that's that. I'm going to take roll call vote of commissioners and associate commissioners who are present tonight. So Nathaniel Stevens.
Present.
Thank you. David White.
I'm here.
Thank you. Mike Gildersgame.
Here.
Great. David Kaplan.
Present.
Great. Brian McBride.
I'm here.
Okay, and the vice chair, Susan Chapnick, is here. So with that, David Morgan, could you go to the administrative part of the agenda and we'll review the minutes from 9/18/25?
All right, here we are.
This was a light meeting, so there's probably not much here.
Yep, and I believe, Nathaniel, you already took a crack at this, right?
I did, yes, thanks, before Jackie sent them.
And I would thank you, Nathaniel. She's relying on you now because you are the one who consistently reads them and gives us edits. So if at any time that becomes too cumbersome for you or onerous, please let me know.
Thanks.
But we appreciate your effort.
Sure, happy to do so.
We went over the vegetation permit conditions and certificates of compliance at some length. The Elizabeth Island Conservation Restriction MOU, and here I'll note that what we were looking for in that conversation was clarification around the enforcement matters pursuant to the CR and the MOU. Sims CR, water bodies, and CPA as usual. Likewise, tree committee, and we did not have any hearings. So we just had a comment about a a question about a jurisdictional area, and we adjourned quite early at 8:30, just shy of 8:30.
So are there any other edits anybody wants to make? I don't see anybody raising a hand. So then I will ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
That's Nathaniel Stevens. And can I get a second?
Second.
That was David Kaplan. Okay,
Yes.
great. All right. So I'm going to take a roll call vote and to approve these. So David White,
Yes.
Mike Gilderscane,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
David Kaplan,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
and the chair says yes. So thank you. Correspondence received is at the web page put in the chat. Is there anything of note, David Morgan, that you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, there was only one piece of correspondence for this time, and it was BSC's response to the request for information letter sent by Mass DEP about the Thorndike Place notice of intent, and it's of course being reviewed by DEP now. They just submitted, after some delay, a response about the infiltration system and the engineering behind it. There's been some traffic when it comes to correspondence about that issue with DEP. The same folks who were involved in our hearings going back and forth with their various arguments about whether or not that's an effective solution to managing stormwater on the site. And this is the latest in that sort of back and forth.
And David, that's posted to the Conservation Commission's website on Thorndike,
Thorndike Place, yeah.
so the public can read it. And do you know if that email with that response also went to the Arlington Land Trust?
I believe it did, yeah. I think everybody has been.
Everybody got it? Okay, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure, because even though we posted it for the public, they were very involved, as we know.
Yeah,
And
they're following it closely, yeah.
okay, great, thank you. So I'm going to go to the first discussion item, which is Elizabeth Island Conservation Restriction MOU. I'm hoping this one's brief because this has been on the agenda for a while, and we wanted to get it right. And as David said, there's some language that was changed having to do with responsibilities for enforcement actions to make sure that the conservation also has that that responsibility if needed. So do you know what was changed, David? So we could focus on that
I
section?
don't have a track changes version,
Okay.
but I can call out the parts that are germane to our last discussion. For
Great.
example, this whereas clause, talking about how Mass Audubon and the commission have independent responsibility and authority to manage, monitor, and enforce the restriction. Farther down here, it says Mass Audubon assumes primary but not exclusive responsibility for basically the same, particularly enforcement, which was the issue, clarifying that there are no rights abrogated or otherwise altered. Sharing of information was in there. And then there's communication about any approval or enforcement action. I think that might have been an earlier version as well, but, and likewise clarifying that nothing about this MOU changes the commission's role. If folks
Thank
have
you.
had the chance to look this over, I wonder if this satisfies the questions or concerns that we had going in.
I'll ask for any comments
I just
or
have
questions?
a question. Has this language been seen by Audubon as well?
They provided it to us.
They provided it to us. Okay, good.
I guess from my perspective, Susan, I'm sorry, I didn't compare the documents, but my
Right.
recollection was that it wasn't clear what we were giving them permission to enforce. And my personal worry was that it sounded like they were enforcing the bylaws of the Conservation Commission normally would enforce. To me, this version clearly states there, and sorry, my dog, they're managing the conservation restriction. That seems more clearly stated in this version. I don't recall that being the case in the prior version. So for me, it clarified the issue.
Thank you, Brian. Nathaniel, how do you feel about it?
I think it looks great. Yeah,
Good.
I think it's cleaner. It's more to matches the stated purpose of it. And again, it doesn't impinge on our rights, which I didn't think the first one did either, but it's clearer, I think,
Great.
for folks. So
Thank you. Any other comments from commissioners or associate commissioners? If I don't hear any, and I was pleased with it too. I thought it was just, it clarified what we were concerned about. So I will ask for a commissioner to make a motion to approve this MOU.
so moved.
Thanks, Nathaniel.
Seconded.
And who is that? David White? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, any other comments, discussions needed? No? Okay, I will take a roll call vote then. Mike Gildersleeve,
Yes.
David Kaplan,
Yes.
Brian McBride.
Yes.
Did I hear Brian?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. You must have been on mute. David White.
Yes.
Okay, Nathaniel Stevens.
Yes.
And Susan Chapnick says yes. Great. Thank you. And so what is the next step, David Morgan? This just goes back to,
I think we need to sign it or sign it. Send it back.
who signs it? I guess that's what I wanted to know. What's the signature?
That's a good question. I just closed the document.
I think it might have to be signed by at least a quorum of the Conservation Commission, but I'm not positive. I forgot what it said on the
Yeah,
bottom.
there are 4 signatures, including the chair.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So you'll have to coordinate that, David.
Okay.
People coming
Any
in.
Well,
And
happy to swing by
I
and
can
sign it.
drop by. Yeah.
And I think they have to be notarized signatures.
Do they?
That's right. Yeah, there was a
Does
notary
say-
on that, which
Yeah.
we could ask Audubon if we could waive that. I don't think that was on the prior draft, but
Why don't I?
Yeah, that's
call
gonna
board
be
meeting?
troublesome
town have
because then we
notary?
have to carry around the original.
Right, that's true. It's also, oh, I'm noticing, never mind what I was just saying. I can follow up with an email to find a time that might work for everybody to sign it with the notary just upstairs in the town manager's office, and or inquire about whether that's necessary. I know in another instance it was sought because the insurer was looking for it, and I know that's also part of the rationale here, so I wonder if that might be why it got added, but we can get clarity on that.
Okay, so you'll send around a follow-up email, and then we'll make sure you get some warm bodies in there.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Next on the agenda is the Sims Conservation Restriction Update. I understand, Nathaniel, you might have a short update for us.
sure. Thanks. Just a brief update on the forest management plan. It was reported to me at our last meeting 2 weeks ago that that's underway. I told them that we tentatively have them scheduled for our November 6th meeting, so they're aware of that to give them a deadline. In terms of the encroachments, some progress. In terms of reaching residents, and some of the there's 4 or 5 encroachments that need to have the encroachments removed, and one might require a surveyor to go back out again to ascertain exactly where someone's fence is. Other people are being cooperative and are even willing to chip in a little bit to have the property management company do the work, essentially for them a little bit, but not cover the full cost. So that's encouraging. And then we still have one recalcitrant person at 106 Woodside Road, who is the person who we've had trouble with in prior years on that. So that's we're still working on that one. And that's the latest update.
Thank you. That's great.
David.
What's the forestry plan? Is that
Did you have a question? Sorry, David.
is the forestry work in process? What's the plan?
I'm sorry. Yes, that's why I thought I said that at the beginning. The forest management plan is in process, and it's scheduled. We're scheduled to review it at our November 6th meeting.
Right. So, David Morgan, make sure that we have that on the agenda for November 6th, if you're keeping track, because I know Jackie's not here tonight, and she usually keeps track of that. Okay. Moving on, thank you, Nathaniel, to the Water Bodies Working Group. David White.
Okay, I have a few things here.
Mhm.
Information. Basically, Spy Pond, we have brittle naiad reappearing. A problem in the future, perhaps. Phragmites treatment has taken place, and the phragmites are dying. We have had algae bloom at Hills Pond. And McLennan, David, any update on McLennan? What's happening with the work there and the drainage and all? Anything DPW?
Yeah, DPW has no mow signs to put up. I'm not sure if that's gone in yet or not. Follow up with Mike Rademacher about it. The other drainage improvements and so on, sediment removal, all needs to be further explored in terms of how we pay for accomplishing it. So
Are they taking responsibility for some of that? Are they taking something on? Or?
DPW?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working with engineering on it, so I trust we'll do it in step.
It's busy a stormwater structure, so I think they should take responsibility anyway.
Susan, I have a question.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead, Mike.
Just regarding Hills Pond, I noted that there were 4 stations for fishing line disposal around that little pond. And last time I looked, there were no fishing line or lures or anything in the trees, which I think is good news. I also will note that the Hills Pond was treated, and there were signs placed there for just warning people to stay away from the pond.
Yeah.
It was treated for what? For the algae?
Yes.
Had algae
It
bloom.
was, yeah, just before. So they took the water quality sample when they treated, and the count came back a couple days later at above the regulatory threshold. So we had to shut it down. Health department did that.
Yeah.
But
So it was treated and then they had to shut it down because we do the treatment and the health department makes the decision about if the numbers are too high. So it was almost, why did we treat it? But that's okay.
I guess
well, I mean, it got an
affected.
algicide in there, so
Oh, okay, so it would clear
that
up
should help.
faster, right?
Yeah, ideally. So they're also supposed to drop off. Actually, I thought it was this week. I need to follow up with them about getting the testing equipment so that we can conduct those tests ourselves and have them sent to the lab anytime somebody suggests that there might be a bloom forming.
So when I saw the email blast from the town that there was algae at Hills Pond, it wasn't clear that they had closed the pond. Because usually when we have an algae bloom, we absolutely close the pond. You don't have dogs there, no fishing, no anything. Did they close the pond or did
There
they
were
not?
signs up all around the pond warning people about contact with the water or contact by their pets.
Okay,
So that I don't know if that counts as closing it.
I
but
think it pretty much does. But so that goes back to my point, your point about fishing line. I bet that's why there's no fishing line problems too. Or contributed
fishing, yes.
to it. Contributed to it. Yeah.
And no fishing because it's closed.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
And
was there anything else, David?
one more item.
Sure.
No Name Brook.
Right. No Name
Yes,
Brook.
we had over 500 names suggested for No Name Brook.
Yeah.
Water Buddies Group come up with 2 names to present tonight. I think for us to approve and pass on to the town manager and select board. So we have 2 names. One is Bow Run. Other is Monterey Brook. Those are the 2 names. So I think we need to select one of them to pass on up the chain.
Nathaniel Stevens has a question.
No, I have a preference already, but I don't have a question.
Oh, okay. You have a preference. You want to
I have
vote
a
or
strong preference.
you
I'm
want
trying
to
look
you
for-
want to you want to justify your strong preference before we vote? Go for it.
Yes, I like Menominee Brook better because Bow Run, I think people won't understand what a run is. It's a little esoteric. And I'm looking for, I shared my thoughts with David Morgan, and he had a very funny email back, which I can't find, which I'll embarrass him with.
That's
but,
okay.
anyways, so
Nathaniel,
I think it's clearer.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
actually
all.
looked up the word run versus brook because I didn't really understand what the difference is. I know, run is commonly. So what they said, what AI says is that a run is a brook or a small stream, but it's used in the mid-Atlantic states mainly, like Virginia and Maryland. And that in New England, the same kind of small stream is usually called a brook. So that was interesting to me. And I told David Morgan this, but he said, well, this is what the Water Bodies Group came up with, and you didn't vote before. I like Bow Brook because I love alliteration, but that one wasn't a choice.
It didn't come up. It wasn't in the.
I know it wasn't a choice. I should have voted. I should have sent in a vote. But anyway, anybody else want to talk about pros and cons? Brian McBride.
Well, I don't get Bow. Is it near Bow Street or something?
Oh yeah, it's right
Bow Street,
off
yes.
of Bow Street. Yeah.
That feels a little obscure to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like Menominee.
It's not quite so. Not
I
quite
wish
so.
Menominee was easier to say.
Clear.
For some reason, it trips on my tongue, but that's a problem town-wide, and we're not going to fix that. But I like the historic reference.
Anyone else before we vote?
I like Menominee Brook. I like that one, even though it suggested
I
Bow
would
Run in the
support
first
that.
place.
Okay,
I
so
must be the lone voice
you
for
like
Bow Run
the
then.
Bow Run. You like the Bow Run, David.
And I'll just weigh in to say only that little piece, but the funny exchange Nathaniel and I had was about what Susan described about the definition of run and how we have to refer to different definitions when you're looking through our regulations for stream, brook, and then run on top of it. It would
Right.
just be like circular.
Oh, yeah.
So that was our joke about it, but I do prefer Bow Run. I think it's cute, and I also think Run gives, at least for me, it gives the impression of it being a straight line, right? And it parallels the bike path. So I think
Bow
that
Run on the bike path.
is an appropriate term for it.
Thanks, David. Anybody else want to opine before we vote? Okay, so what is it? Just the commissioners that can vote, or can associate commissioners vote?
We decide.
Why not? We're going to let everybody vote. Okay. So I will start with Bow Run, and what's the easiest way to do this? Or should I just go around and ask you which one you want better? That's probably easier, then I don't have to do it twice. Okay, I will go with Nathaniel.
I'm still sticking with Menominee. Menominee Brook.
Okay, Menominee.
Sorry, David.
And
Morgan.
David Kaplan.
Menominee Brook has the slight edge. but I do like both.
Okay. David White,
I'll say Menominee Brook.
Mike Gilderstain,
Well, I was thinking of an alternative of Monotony Run, but that's probably not going to fly. So I'll go with Monotony Brook.
okay. Yeah, I wanted an alternative too, but we didn't send in our names, so we can't, because they have to pick from the names that they got. Okay, so Menominee Brook. Brian,
Not me.
Menominee. Sarah,
Monotony.
Sarah. Who didn't I call on? David Morgan,
Yeah.
Bow Run.
Oh, if I get to vote, then I'm going Bow Run, yeah.
Okay. And I had originally liked Bow Run better, but I just think it's obscure and people aren't going to understand.
Yeah,
So
it
I'm
is
going with
pretty
Monotony. Okay, so Monotony wins.
So I think we need to pass it on to the select board with our recommendation for the name of the,
Okay.
of the water
So
body.
just a quick, do we need to make it formal, or David, maybe
I
you
think we
could
should say that we voted to
be voted?
recommend this
Okay,
as a name
Yeah.
to that
okay,
body
I
of
can
water.
write a memo and submit it. Probably they'll put it on the consent agenda and recognize that it's been formally approved by other bodies and agree. So I'll
That
let you
would be
know
great.
how it goes.
great.
Identify where it is too. People might not know where it is.
Yeah.
Really, give
First
him a
order
little
of
map.
business.
Yeah, you better
Yeah,
send
give
a
him a little
map.
map.
Yes.
Give him a map with the word, right? Okay, great. All right, so was that it, David
That's
White?
all I have.
Sounds good, thank you. CPA committee. Is that going to be David Morgan or Brian?
Brian.
Brian? Okay, great.
Support from David, as usual. So yeah, the CPA preliminary round review is next Wednesday at 5 p.m. I sort of wish these meetings were more published. They're kind of like behind the bushes. But the purpose of this meeting, as you probably know, is just to determine whether the projects are qualified for the final round. So it shouldn't be too elaborate. But David and I, following the commission's approval last week, did get together, spend an hour or so talking over some potential projects and reviewing the list that we had kicked around for potential enhancements or improvements of commission properties. And after some good conversations, decided to go with a couple of properties that were probably more in need or more natural and in need of some TLC, and maybe less controversial or sort of provocative, and just decided for Windows on the Mystic, and I always mix this one up, sorry, what was the other one, David? Meadowbrook Park. I always want to say Meadowbrook Park. And so David put together a proposal in this kind of funky Google Forms format that CPA is now using, and sent it off to them. But I don't think we ever saw, did we, David, the reassembled proposal based on all the individual segments that you have to submit? So we don't have any document to share with the commission at this point, but something
Yeah,
should be.
that's true.
Could
I
you-
requested a
Oh, sorry.
copy of the materials that were submitted for all my applications, because it's a form that doesn't email you, your input immediately afterwards. So for record keeping and for sharing with you all, wanted to have that. Haven't received it yet, but Brian, did you mention the price tag?
No.
$400,000 roughly for scoping both of those for improvements and hopefully getting a little bit past concept designs at least.
So what was the dollar amount? Sorry.
425,000.
425, and what is the scope briefly?
Generally improvements to passive recreation amenities at Meadowbrook. Meadowbrook Park. We're not renaming another one.
Run.
Yeah, right. And Window on the Mystic.
So passive recreation amenities, but not improvements in habitat or anything? It's just recreation.
That could count too, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
we're talking about all manner of things, trails, fencing, signage,
Okay.
you know, those kind of infrastructural pieces, as well as the ecological improvements and
So yeah, I didn't hear that word before. So ecological improvement.
And there's invasive plant problems both places.
yep, and that would be part of the package.
Planting native species as well.
Great.
I think there's you know, David has two or three other projects too, David, that you'll be submitting, Pond Lane and Cook's Hollow. Is that right? So the total of sort of, I don't know, habitat related or nature related projects this year is quite high for the CPA request, which I think personally is a good thing, that there's been a lot of park work done, you know, standard recreational park work done in the last 3, 4, 5 years. And maybe it's time that we did more of this sort of work. I hope the CPA committee is interested in that argument.
So David, could you just briefly tell us the other two projects that you also have submitted?
There are three. So
Oh,
Brian
three.
mentioned Cook's Hollow, which you'll be familiar with from the notice of intent. 21 Pond Lane, public garden, native habitat space, also with public access and passive recreation amenities, benches and shady spaces to hang out and so forth. And then Garden 250 is the last one, also a big public garden in the center along the bike path, in line with the bikeway improvement plan and some economic development measures we're trying to employ there. So really just trying to spread a number of these initiatives around town, lots of native plantings, ecologically
Great.
beneficial land management, yeah.
Great. Nathaniel?
Thanks. David, I just had a question. I just Googled 21 Pond Lane. Who owns that in the town? It's not conservation land.
No, it's the select board. And this was actually the last piece that I needed to do before I filed the CPA application, is to get their authorization to advance the project. And a couple weeks ago, I got that at one of their meetings. So,
Oh, great.
yeah.
It looks like you could connect it with Spy. Oh, not really. Spy Pond Park. It's not. Yeah, never mind. You can go into the bridge or over the bikeway, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
It was initially scoped as a public garden when they improved, or I mean, when they first put in Spy Pond Park, and then proposed in like a couple of iterations when they were doing improvements, including like when they put in the well, it was intended to be a parking lot, but now it's the crew team staging area across the street. There were plans to put in a public garden there as well. So this just really formalizes a lot of thinking over the years and hopefully gets it funded.
Thanks.
And Susan, just one last piece of trivia.
Sure.
Folks want to go by the Foot of the Rocks CPA project across from the Dunkin' Donuts in near the Heights is nearly done now, and you can go in and take a walk there. I think they're just missing some of the placards. The historic placards aren't up yet, but you can see.
Great. Thanks. Thanks, Brian. Tree committee, Sarah, has there been any action at the tree committee?
Yes, the tree committee met yesterday, and just a couple of things. The tree warden estimates that we've lost about 10% of trees planted in the East Arlington as part of the grant project, which is about 20 trees, and replacements will be planted this fall. The plan is to do 150 trees in the fall and 150 trees in the spring. And priority will be given to people that requested trees in the past. Again, the tree committee reiterated that trees need to be watered, and they really asked the community and neighbors to please be kind to trees and water them. Another thing that was discussed was the issue that contractors that plant trees, once they're supposed to water them. Unfortunately, once they get paid, it never happens. So the tree discussed different strategies of trying to either rectify the situation or find alternate ways of getting those trees watered. The last thing that was mentioned, just under discussion, just to make the committee aware of it, is because of the weather patterns that we've been experiencing with long periods of drought and then short periods of abundant rain, there's been some discussions about should we plant differently. And the tree warden is thinking about potentially having different sidewalks with porous pavement. There were other ideas, but there's going to be some discussion with the DPW, with Mike Rodemacher about this. So just to know decisions, but just oh, Mike, please.
Yeah, were those 20 trees lost because of the drought, or were there some other problems?
You know, I don't know, to be perfectly honest. Although if I had to bet, it'll probably have to do with watering. However, the tree warden said that 10% loss is not unusual.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what he said.
Mhm.
I went out with Tim and Hillary, who is the manager of the program that funded these plantings, and we reviewed the places where those 300 or so trees are going, and we looked at the ones that fared well and which did not, and it seemed to be kind of species specific. And Hillary was saying, you know, you should ask at the nursery if they had a bad run this year with that species, because one type of tree, I forget, I'm sorry, which species it was, but it was really funny. Like, same conditions, you know, half a block apart, one tree would be thriving, the other would be dead. And, you know, same maintenance, ostensibly, you know, same schedule, etc. Just luck of the draw, so to speak.
I
also think different species have different drought tolerances. Was that taken into account?
Yeah, I mean, these were of the same species, so they're
Oh,
comparing
the same
like
species. I thought you said different species.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, I mean, we did look at how different species fared compared with one another, and then like within a species, which individuals were doing better and worse. So it happened to be one species that was the bulk of the die-off, and it was really comparable the way they got treated.
Yeah, I was wondering if the emerald ash borer might be playing a role here, or some other disease or insect or whatever. But I don't think we know
Good
that.
question. We did look for exit holes on some trees. I don't remember if the one that fared the worst had any pests or not. Yeah, it's a good question.
I see Susan Stamps has her hand up. Susan, I'll recognize you in this discussion because you're on the tree committee.
Thank you. Well, as far as I know, emerald ash borer only attacks ash trees,
That's what I thought.
and I'm quite sure that we're not planting any more ash trees.
Right.
And we are treating something like 10% of the ash trees each year with a biologic pesticide. So we're trying to protect what we've got, but I really don't think we're planting any. So that was it.
Is the tree committee, so I'll just go back and ask, or maybe Sarah, or Susan, the next time you have a meeting. I would think there are more drought tolerant trees. You know, there are certain trees that are more drought tolerant. They can handle lower water than other trees. Should we be considering that, or should we not, because we're getting more water in the winter than we are getting snow? So I don't know, but it's something to think about. The ecology.
Yeah, I think it is
Yeah.
something to have a conversation with the tree warden about. We haven't brought it up, but I think the tree warden is, and he talks about that kind of a thing quite a bit. I think that he's got all kinds of certifications and he's very active in the Tree Wardens Association. This is the kind of thing they talk about all the time. So I'm going to make the assumption that he is using the drought tolerance as one of the elements he's looking for in the trees he's buying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can confirm that. And
Yeah.
I haven't had much time in the field with Tim, but I was thoroughly impressed by his knowledge and his consideration, etc.
Mhm.
And afterward, Hillary emailed and said, Town of Arlington's leading the way in the Commonwealth in urban forestry. And I forwarded it to Tim. I was
Wow,
like, you
that's
deserve a
nice.
raise, sir. Please
Right,
put this
right,
in your
right.
personnel
Oh,
file. That was
nice.
quite the accolade. So I felt really good about that project and the work that we have
Who
ongoing in
said
the tree
that?
division.
Tell me who said that?
Hillary King, I think is her last name, and she's with EEA. She
Okay.
does the Cool Corridors grant program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Definitely want to have Tim have that in his personal file.
I know, right? I
Mind
mean,
if I
that's
share
worth
that with the
celebrating.
tree committee? Do you mind if I share that with the tree committee, David?
Sure. Might make Tim blush, but no harm in that.
Great.
Is that EPA you said?
EEA.
EEA.
Oh, okay.
I forgot what that stands for.
Energy and Environmental Affairs.
Thank
Executive.
you.
It's actually EOEEA. Executive
Yeah, because it's the
Office of
executive office, right?
Yeah.
State Government.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Sarah,
Nice.
and thanks, Susan.
Nice.
Okay, we're going to go open the hearing for the notice of intent for 40 Park Ave, as I said, just to vote on continuing. But this is DEP number 091-0372. The Conservation Commission is holding a public hearing to consider the notice of intent to repair a loading dock at 40 Park Avenue. This is a continued hearing. The areas proposed to be altered included the riverfront area and the buffer zone, the adjacent upland resource area associated with the bank to Mill Brook. The Conservation Commission has received a request from the applicant to continue this hearing to our next meeting in October, which is 10/23/25. Is that correct, David? Do I have the correct date? Yes? Okay, thank you. So I'd like a commissioner to make a motion to continue this hearing.
Motion
So
to
moved.
continue.
I'll second, Mike.
Okay, so Mike and then Nathaniel. Okay, any discussion needed? Any
Yeah,
questions?
I'll just note for the record that I was in touch with the applicants and sought some information from them about progress on the work that they're supposed to be doing and compliance with some of the conditions that we have set up. I have not heard back, but I expect by the next commission meeting, we will hear from them.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for taking point on this. I really appreciate it. I've seen some of the emails back and forth. Thank you for staying on top of it. Okay, so I will take a vote to continue this hearing until 10/23/25. David White,
Yes.
David Kaplan,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
Mike Gildaskane,
Yes.
and Susan Chapnick says yes.
Speaking of that meeting, I will be late to that meeting. I
Okay,
screwed up the schedule of the Conservation Commission and specifically moved a meeting from
oh
the third
no,
from the third to the fourth, thinking I was avoiding it. But
okay,
I'll be coming from
alright.
downtown Boston, so I'll probably just only a half hour late, but I'm at the whim of
Okay.
the MBTA.
Sounds good. And also, Mike, since you're taking point on this, and you'll make sure that they get the materials in the week before the meeting.
I can be in touch with them about that.
Yeah, just remind them that, we can't get the materials 2 days before the meeting.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to open the notice of intent for 26 Reed Street. I understand this does not have a DEP number. And the Conservation Commission is holding a public hearing to consider a notice of intent for an addition, porch, and hardscaping at 26 Reed Street in Arlington. The areas proposed to be altered include the riverfront area to an unnamed stream and the buffer zone and adjacent upland resource area associated with an isolated vegetated wetland. And who do we have here who's presenting this project?
Hi, good evening, commission members.
Oh.
I'm Nicole Ferrara from
Hi,
LEC
Nicole.
Environmental. How are
LEC.
you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us,
Great.
Nicole.
Great. If you don't mind, I'm just going to share my screen.
Sure.
Okay. So we're representing the homeowners and the applicants who are also in the audience. You have Ting Yang and JQ Shi, and we
Okay.
are, second here. I don't see my screen actually
It
popping
was
up.
just there.
Let's see. Apologies, having some technical.
That happens.
Okay, here we go. Alrighty. Here's our notice of intent application. I'll just familiarize the commission with the site briefly. It's in the northwestern part of town. You can see it's just west of McGlennon Park, and we have a single family house surrounded by lawn and landscaping. And there is an off-site BVW to the west on, it's actually the town of Lexington land. And there are 2 intermittent streams associated with the site that I'll talk about in a bit. But I'll open up the site plan. We have an existing single-family house that's outlined in pink. The gray is the proposed. We have an existing driveway that extends from Reed Street. There's also a wooden deck that extends off the rear of the property with some stairs that descends to a lawn area. And then we have a shed just in the corner of the property here. And then we have an existing fence. It's this line with the blocks, and it actually extends off-site onto the neighbor's property currently. So that's shown there. And there is no existing garage as of now. This driveway just extends to a parking area, and then on the other side is some lawn. There's a concrete walkway that extends to a small front stoop, and then there's a small front porch. I'll zoom in a little bit. That porch is existing, and then there's a concrete walkway that connects the driveway to that front porch. So in terms of resource areas, LEC was out in August of this year to delineate the wetlands. I outlined in orange here. You can see there's an existing head wall where the stream is carried underneath the property, and the stream daylights here, and it's a open marsh meadow type of wetland. There's also a intermittent stream that's mapped as perennial on the town GIS maps. However, David brought it up to us that this was mapped, and this was after we submitted the NOI, but we did the evaluation. It's not shown on the USGS map, so it's presumed intermittent, but to confirm the status, again, we ran the stream stats and the threshold for the square mile watershed size and 99% flow duration were under the requirements for a perennial status, so we confirmed the intermittent stream there. And you can see it does flow southeast, kind of underneath or towards Reed Street. Going back to our site plan here, for proposed activities, we have a 987 square foot addition over the existing house, so it'll be a second story addition. And then they're also proposing a 301 square foot garage addition that is also largely within the footprint of the house. Again, the existing footprint is in pink, and then the proposed is in gray. So all the expansion is away from the resource area. The existing porch, the existing walkways, and there's a front yard fence over in the front here. That'll all be removed to replace with the proposed structures. The applicants are also proposing a front porch expansion that'll be in the footprint of the existing porch and lawn and landscaped land, and that'll also be extended away from the resource area. So while you can see a portion of this proposed garage is within the 50-foot buffer zone, the work again won't be located closer. I believe the current deck sits at 26.2 feet from the BVW, and the proposed garage is at 37.4. So most of the work, it's, you know, redevelopment of the existing stuff that's there. Lastly, for proposed conditions, we have a permeable paver driveway that'll extend to that new garage. And that'll be to provide access to that garage. And the existing one's going to remain as it's a, you know, a relatively narrow garage. So they wanted that extra parking area. So as much of the work, you know, again, located within existing developed land, there's only a 135 square foot increase of impervious surface. So not too bad. In terms of mitigating measures, the applicants are going to install some erosion controls. Yeah, I showed this in green. It'll be the 12-inch filter tubes around the limit of work, and that's just to protect the BVW from construction activities. And then we're also proposing to add the silt sacks to the catch basins to protect those as well. In terms of stormwater management, as I mentioned, the project does only result in 135 square foot increase of that impervious surface. So it's under the town threshold for stormwater management, but to mitigate for the activities and to comply with the Conservation Commission bylaw, we're proposing a rain garden in the backyard in the 25-foot buffer zone. So you can see here the rain garden is going to be about 190 square feet, and it's going to improve the current discharge because there's actually a sump pump with a little pipe. It's like a plastic PVC that discharges towards the wetland currently. So that will be removed and that water will be redirected toward the rain garden. So that'll be an improvement. Also, these downspouts will also be directed towards the rain garden. So that'll provide additional infiltration for that. We do have a detail for the rain garden. It'll be around 3 inches of stone and 9 inches of soil, and that'll be revegetated with native species, as I'll pull up in a moment. We did create a planting plan. There's a lot of words on here, so I'm going to zoom in. but we are proposing the rain garden vegetation, which is going to consist of a minimum of 5 of these listed shrubs, as well as a minimum of 10 ground cover plantings throughout the rain garden. And then also a shade tolerant seed mix that'll be spread throughout to fill in those gaps. We're also proposing mitigation behind the fence that's actually going to get replaced. So that fence that I had mentioned that's off-site is going to be replaced so that the fence runs, along the property line. The fence that's currently on the property, that'll just be replaced in its current location. We'll make sure to have that 4 to 6 inch gap at the bottom to allow for wildlife passage as well. So in pink here, you can see the land behind the fence is going to be revegetated, and we have a separate planting list. Here we have some viburnum, hazelnut, azalea. So that'll be a minimum of, again, 5 shrubs for that space. And then our last bit of plantings is actually landscape plantings. The applicants want to install some landscape plantings in the front. They'll be all native shrubs. There'll be at least 12, and they will be picked from this list that we have provided here. We did include sizes, spacing, watering, and plant installation notes for all of the 3 areas that we're proposing. I go back to the site plan. We also have our compost sock detail and other information, but I believe that just about covers it. So happy to turn it back over to the commission to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. That was a good overview. I appreciate that, Nicole. I have a few questions, but I'm going to go to the commission first and see who has questions or comments. So if you could put your hand up so I can call on people for the commission first, and then I'll open it up for public comment. David?
I just have
Kathleen?
a quick question about the site. So you said you're reconfiguring the fence and along the property line, but so who owns, I guess, behind that fence line? Is that, but between that fence line and the town line?
I believe that's privately owned. It's the homeowner that
Okay,
is, yeah,
it's like
30.
an angle that comes back. Okay.
Yeah, it's an odd configuration. So it's that fence will be, I believe it'll be removed. And then the new fence will be installed just along where the existing one was, and then the property boundary.
Okay. Yep. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from commissioners? David, I see David Morgan has his hand up. Go ahead, David.
Thanks. I was just looking at the planting plan. The flame azaleas are U.S. native, but not, they're introduced here. And I was trying to find out if maybe, since they're a more southern species, if that might still be appropriate for climate change conditions, but USDA doesn't have rhododendron species as part of their tree atlas, so I wasn't able to turn anything up there. So might recommend just going with more pink azaleas, which are native here, just make that minor adjustment.
Yeah.
That was my only comment.
There's no other comments, then I'll make a few. Was there any consideration in moving the shed that's existing outside of the 25 no disturbance zone? As you probably know, because LEC's been in front of the Conservation Commission many times, we like when somebody is working on a property, we like to look at the property as a whole, and if we can improve closer to the resource area, we'd like to find out if we can. So,
Yeah, so I know the homeowners are pretty constrained with the setbacks on the side of the property.
okay,
Moving the shed, over here would seem to be an inopportune location. But I would be happy to talk to the homeowners regarding that, but it's
Okay.
not something that we had discussed prior.
right. I just, well, it's something to just bring up and see if that can happen. There's a lot going on this little site. Uh, and I have not been there. I've been to other properties on Reed Street. So I see Mike Gildersgame's hand is up and I'll go to him in a minute, but I would like to have a site visit with whatever commissioners would like to join me. I had discussed the plans with our chair, Chuck Taroni, who couldn't be here tonight, and he requested a site visit, which is a common, as you know, commonly done by this commission. So we should talk about that before we continue with the hearing. But I'll see what Mike has to say. Mike?
Yes, thanks. My only question about the shed is this a shed on a concrete pad or is it held up by blocks or what's the connection to the ground there? Is my question really. In other words.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm actually gonna default to JQ and Ting if you wouldn't mind.
Hi, my name is JQ, my wife T.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I can answer this question. This is not connected through the concrete. I believe it's on the below the shed is the rocks as a foundation temporary.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was wondering that because of the impact of moving the shed, if that happens. It's much easier if it's up on blocks or stone rather than on a concrete pad, so that would make a difference. But yeah, I don't feel strongly one way or the other with that. Thank you.
Okay, yep.
Thank you. I see David Kaplan has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm just looking at the plan. I just wanted to confirm what constituted the new 135 square feet of impervious. Is that the space over the porch where the proposed garage is?
Yeah, great question. So zoom in here. The pink is the existing house, so part of the expansion is this front porch. And then there's some reworking of, impervious surface over here, but we do have the calculations actually shown on the plan, so that might help break it down.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So if you just go back to, so it's just what's calculated in there is the front apron that you're putting in. Okay.
So it's
And
outside the 50.
right, and underneath that existing porch on the proposed garage on the right side of the house, the right side of the plan, I guess that's all.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see concrete walk. That's all impervious
Yeah,
currently.
yeah,
Okay, thanks for
exactly.
confirming that. Appreciate it.
Are there any other questions? Oh, David Morgan has his hand up again. Go ahead, David.
Thanks. I'm acting like a commissioner here, and Chuck would
Hmm.
be upset with me, but I'm curious about the rain garden. If you could scroll up just a little bit on the
Oh, yes,
page.
of course.
So it looks like there's a maple there, and it's within the drip line of that
Yes.
existing tree.
Yes, good eye.
So we want to relocate that if possible, and maybe bring it out a little further instead of, just keep it out of the root zone. My other question about is related to storage capacity, because it seems like it'll be receiving the bulk of the water from the structure. And I just can't imagine it's like a lot of area that you could store anything there. Certainly you'll slow it down and allow it to infiltrate and move into the wetland cleaner than it might have otherwise, but just wanted to get your thoughts about its function in terms of how much water is being directed there.
Mm-hmm. No, great question. I'll speak first to this tree. I believe it is a Norway maple, and we can definitely confirm that at the site visit. If it is a Norway maple, would the commission be open to removing this tree, or they prefer to keep it? We can certainly shift the rain garden over, as long as I believe we can't put it under this storm drain, so that might constrain us a little bit in terms of shifting it to that's north. But we can certainly shift it down if needed. And then in terms of the storage capacity, while, we do have existing, water just currently like sheet flowing essentially overland towards the wetland. So the rain garden, we thought would be an improvement in terms of having it being able to infiltrate through that gravel, infiltrate through the soil. There's going to be native plants. I don't know if this area would necessarily fill with water. I guess it depends on how large of a storm event we get. But we do have, I believe it's 4 downspouts directed there now. I don't know, JQ, if you can speak on the storage capacities. You did design the rain garden.
Yeah, I can speak a little bit. This is I try to expand as much I can without sacrifice the limit need, which I mean that I need some space between the rain garden and the wood deck. Certainly, we can expand more. Frank speaking, because of that limitation, I didn't do a detailed calculation how much we need in terms of rain garden area. But if that information needed, we definitely can we can nail down further by calculating how much area, I mean the impervious area, because those water from the house gonna eventually can lead to the proposed rain garden, and then based on that we can do see what number we come up. But based on a practical perspective, this is currently we believe we have expanded to sort of the limit. That's all I can say there right now.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I had a follow-up question, but David, did you?
Yeah, I also had a follow-up question
Go
about the
ahead.
rain garden. Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, to David's point too, I think I'm less concerned about, what it's going to retain. I think it's a good offset for the new impervious that you're putting on the site. But routing all of that runoff to it, piping it may create an erosion issue at the discharge point. So if you have all of this, before, if it was sheet flow and it was spread out across the entire backyard, working its way into the wetland, and now you're putting it to one, more concentrated point, you might run into some erosion issues at a discharge point at the low point, and that may want to take a look at that and make sure it's armored enough so that doesn't happen. Thank you.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, definitely.
Something
So
to
we
look at?
do
Okay.
have we do have some gravel stone proposed, but we can definitely look into increasing that area, especially where the downspouts are being proposed.
Or look at flared ends or something, that to disperse it.
Right, the water coming in as well as the water coming out, it's going to find a low spot in that rain garden and work its way out at the same velocity. So just consider that as well.
Great. No, thank you for that comment.
Yep, and I don't see on this plan the mitigation planting area, or am I just missing it here?
You are
It is.
correct. It's not explicitly shown. We just have the landscape plantings
Okay.
And the rain garden and the mitigation area is this spot behind the fence here.
Okay, and do you think that that would help? I mean, that's gonna get wet too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So this
yeah.
area, it's currently, I would say, shrub, a handful of plants back here. It's not, forested and full of native vegetation by any means. So
Mhm.
adding vegetation back here will definitely create another buffer between the wetlands, and all the water that's coming towards it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, because I'm concerned as well as the other discussions we've had that the rain garden might get inundated, and that can be a buffer as well. Um, I am also concerned about the trees. I don't know what kind they are. I will say you did have a question about removing Norway maples. So this commission takes that on a site-by-site basis. If they're large trees, even though they're invasive, they do have habitat quality. And, for shading, for actually, absorbing water, for wildlife. So if those were planned to be removed, then we have a tree replacement policy. For a tree that's 24-inch DBH, you need multiple trees to offset that, to meet our bylaw. This lot is very tight. I don't think you have a lot of room for a lot of other trees. So maybe maybe during a site visit, we can look at those trees that are potentially impacted. There's one there, there's one right behind the rain garden in the mitigation area. We can look at all those and see what state they're in, what species they are, and and go from there. So I don't think that the commission can give you any guidance on that yet. But I
Okay,
would
yeah,
point you
that
to our
sounds good.
vegetation replacement, which is pretty aggressive. And I don't know that you'd have much room for that on the site, maybe one or two trees, but
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So if, to save this tree, because we weren't planning on removing it.
okay.
However, the rain garden might impact its roots, that it'll essentially kill the tree if all the critical root zone roots are cut. So we'll have to take another look at the configuration in respect to that tree.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Are there any other questions from the commission, or I'm going to open it up for public comment? Did the owner, did you want to say anything else before I open it for public comment?
No, I think it's a good comment.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
your feedback.
thank you. Okay, I'm going to open this up for public comment, and please keep your public comments focused on this project. Are there any public comments? You can use the reaction button on your screen and put a hands up, or you could unmute yourself and say, I'm here. Do you see anyone, David? Don't see any hands up. Did I miss anybody? No? Okay, I'm going to close the public comment period. And I'd like to set up, maybe David, you could set up a doodle poll for a site visit. I'd ask the applicant, what are your time constraints on accommodating the Conservation Commission members to come look at the site? Look at the property?
Assume that it's weekdays. Weekdays we are flexible, as
Okay.
long as not conflict with the school time. Not school. Drop the kids and pick up the kids time. That's what I mean.
Got it. Okay.
After 9, before 3 should be fine with us.
Okay.
If that works.
And what about earlier? Earlier you can't do it, because I know certain members have to get to work. So,
In other words, before 9.
yeah.
Before
Yeah, we can
yeah,
accommodate that.
if that time prefer, we can accommodate that.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Okay. So David Morgan, can I ask you to set up a doodle poll with some times before 9 or I guess also after, you said you could do it after you drop them off, so that would be after 9:30 or when, oh, you drop your kids off at
Yeah, I
8?
think yeah, the kids will be dropped like before 9 o'clock, and then like taking the time to drive to the site. I think like 9:30. Yeah, definitely after 9:30 that would be very safe.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm specifically thinking of David Kaplan, who he's going to have trouble getting here during school.
I'm at work at 7, so that's
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want
that's
to
not gonna
subject
work.
them to that.
No, okay, all right,
But we'll
Okay.
try. We'll
try to
do the
accommodate,
best.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I think the other commissioners could probably handle it, and I'll make it if I can. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, we
okay,
only have
sounds
one
good.
family here. You guys have multiple families over there, so.
Right. Okay, so we'll schedule a site visit before the next meeting. With your permission, we'll vote to continue this hearing. So we can get the site visit done, and also I'll just review a few things that we discussed. We discussed looking at moving the shed outside of the 25 no disturbance zone. We discussed thinking a little more about how much water is going into the rain garden, seeing if it's sized appropriately. Some of the plantings that David Morgan mentioned, looking at. And I think, did I miss anything? I think that was it, right?
Just the tree. maybe?
And the trees, right?
Maybe
Okay.
moving the shed, or was that on the
Yeah, I
list?
said that. Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
That they should look into that. Yes. Yes. Now, our next meeting is on the 23rd. So that would mean we would try to set up a site visit either next week, which is a short week because a lot of people have off Monday, or the week after before the 23rd, which is also a possibility. So I would say, yeah, so maybe October 14th through the 22nd. Does that sound right, David Morgan? Did I get those dates right?
Yeah, the only concern I would have is allowing sufficient time to turn around any revised materials.
Oh, that's true. So maybe we want to do it by the 17th.
Yeah, and might need to
Okay.
just give them a grace period of a
Sure.
couple extra days.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay. So David Morgan will get back in touch with you on what we end up with in our request for a site visit. We'll probably ask for 1 or 2 days and times, depending upon what commissioners can go. We try to get at least 2 commissioners to go to a site visit with David or with our administrator who isn't here tonight, just to get different points of view for questions. So we'll work on that. And with that, can I have a commissioner request for continuance?
So moved.
Oh, so moved was Brian. Is that right?
Second,
And second was Nathaniel.
Nathaniel.
Okay. And any more discussion? Okay, so we're voting to continue this to the 23rd of October. And David White,
Yes.
thank you. Mike Gildescame,
Yes.
thank you. David Kaplan,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
and Susan Chapnick says yes. So thank you very much. And we'll see you on the 23rd. Well, we'll see you before the 23rd for a site visit.
Yes, great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
for your
much.
time.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. Okay, with that, it ends our agenda. I'm trying to beat Chuck's time because he told me I wouldn't do
I
it.
feel say, yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that.
But I do want to say, does anybody else have any business this evening that we didn't get to that you need?
I was just going to ask again, sorry to be broken, record on this, but Mount Gilboa, originally we thought about scheduling it for this meeting. I think.
David Morgan. I'm going to throw that to you.
Happy to do it. Chuck and I didn't get the opportunity to connect on the agenda until sort of last minute on this one. And so we only went with what was already scheduled, but
Yeah. The public have
I
asked.
did ask. I will
Okay,
say I
thank
did
you. No,
ask.
sounds good. No,
Yeah, I also actually-
you know, we spent all that time and effort to go through that whole process. I just feel like we need to bring it.
You need to close it somewhere, yeah.
I do too, because, you know, when I was at town meeting and I was manning the booth for 2 hours, I got that question a lot from people.
Oh, town day,
Are-
yeah.
Yeah, on town day.
Yeah.
Sorry, town day, not town meeting,
Town
town
day.
day. And they came up to me and they said, you know, I live in the Mount Gilboa district. What's happening? You know,
Yes.
is there a
Let 'em
follow-up?
know.
And yes, there's a lot of public interest on that. So David, we should look at our schedules for the next meeting and the meeting after and see which one looks lightest, because I know we have some enforcement orders coming back as well. And I don't think we want a big discussion about Mount Gilboa when we have lots of other things we have to do, because we want to give time. Sounds good?
Agreed, yeah. I will keep it in the frame for the next couple of meetings.
Okay, thanks, David.
Thanks.
Susan, I just had one note for the commission. Heads up that November 6th, I think we have a meeting scheduled, and I will not be there. I'll be in Colorado at my daughter's wedding, so.
Oh,
Wow.
congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations. That's so exciting. And Colorado too.
Yeah, up in the foothills of the Rockies, it's 7,500 feet.
Wow.
Is it
Are you
in
bringing your skis,
Estes
your
Park?
snowshoes?
Huh?
Are
No,
you
it's
doing it in
not.
Estes Park?
No, it's just about an hour west of Denver in a little town called Evergreen.
Oh, great. How wonderful.
So I'll be missing
I'll
that
be
meeting.
here in 2 weeks myself, just for my
Oh.
final parents' weekend at his college.
Where is that? When is that, Mike?
In 2
Uh,
weeks.
Oh, in 2 weeks, okay, the next meeting?
So that's at the October, because we're looking at quorum now if it's the same
Yeah,
meeting.
oh,
but
right,
it's
yeah,
not.
23rd, yeah, I'll be late, so.
You'll be late on the 23rd
I'll
and
be
the
here
20th.
on the 23rd, just not November 6th.
Got it. Okay, so we don't have a quorum issue. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. All right. Good night,
right.
everybody.
All right,
Night.
thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye.